5 US-based cruise lines are set to begin allowing guests with mixed vaccinations on board their cruise ships in just a handful of days. A brand new Carnival ship is on her way back to the US from a dry dock, and she's set to resume operations on December 13th. We'll tell you what you need to know about this ship that's brand new, but it's one many of you have already sailed on. An iconic former cruise ship has been turned into the world's largest floating nightclub. Plus, the Port of Seattle is closing down operations. We'll let you know why. All this coming up on Midships. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. Well, it's official. I am now back in Florida. We are officially back in our home studios here down in Orlando. But don't worry, because it's only about 2 weeks until our next cruise. I have an exciting cruise I'm going to announce to the Midships family, but I'm going to make you all wait until Monday to find out. So be sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss it. Now, I have plenty of content coming out over the next few days from my cruise on Carnival Elation, but I want to give you guys a quick synopsis of my thoughts about Carnival Elation. And the biggest thing I noticed about the ship was actually how small she was. Of every port that we pulled into, she was pretty much the smallest ship around, except for maybe the time that we were pulled up right next to a very special cruise ship called the World. Have you ever heard about that? Leave a comment below if you have, and if you think it would be cool to run into her in port sometime, why don't you slam the thumbs up button on this video. Now, despite her semi-small size, I never really found myself lost or tired from walking around the ship, so you could definitely see that as a pro to the ship. But of course, due to her small size, there were definitely some areas that felt very small and very restricted and constrained, especially on the main deck as you're getting onto the ship. Around the guest services and bar area, there's really not enough room for two-way traffic to happen in that area, so it's definitely a little bit tight there. Make sure you head down that way when people are off the ship or up on the Lido deck. Now, of course, Carnival is known as the fun ships, and they did not disappoint on this cruise. It was a Halloween-themed cruise, and yours truly, Captain Corey of Midships, actually came home with a trophy from this ship. I entered the Halloween costume contest, and now my last quick thought on the cruise aboard Carnival Elation is not about the ship or the cruise line, but about one of the itinerary stops, and that stop being Bimini in the Bahamas. I have to say I was overall not very impressed with the stop at this time. It's not that it wasn't beautiful, it's not that the water wasn't lovely or the people weren't pleasant there. It's just that overall, I don't think Bimini is quite ready to receive cruise travelers at this time. So I'll go ahead and save all of this information for a future video. Now let's hop into today's cruise news. So I'm sure many of you in the Midships family are familiar with a ship named the Queen Elizabeth II. But did you know she is now home to the largest floating nightclub in the world? From cruiseradio.net by Bruce Parkinson. Former cruise ship now home to world's largest floating nightclub. Launched by Queen Elizabeth back in 1969, iconic ocean liner Queen Elizabeth II hosted a long list of celebrities during its life at sea. Everyone from Nelson Mandela, Buzz Aldrin, and even Julia Child. Now she rests as a dockside hotel in Dubai. The ship is attracting modern-day celebrities to Float Dubai, which is being heralded as the world's largest floating nightclub. And there's a really cool picture of the entrance here to Float Dubai. Looks pretty trendy to me. Located on the top deck of the ship, Float is an outdoor club with a capacity of 1,000, with a lounge on the deck below. It debuted with a gala event on October 14th and attracting celebrities including actress Lindsay Lohan. The fabled ocean liner was operated by Cunard Line from 1969 to 2008. A few years after the more modern Queen Mary II entered service, Cunard sold QE2 to Dubai World, which planned to turn the ship into a floating hotel. With tourism in Dubai taking off, the QE2 underwent an extensive refurbishment and eventually opened as a 215-room floating hotel back in 2018. Entry to the club is free, but if you'd like to book a table there, there is a minimum spending requirement of $1,100. So a few months back, I watched a fantastic YouTube vlog from someone who had spent the night in the hotel there on QE2. And so with the emergence of this new venue, it's absolutely wonderful to hear that the ship is enjoying a sort of renaissance and will live on in some form, at least for the near future. Well, one cruise port in the Pacific Northwest is set to close down in the coming days. Let's learn a little bit more about what's going on up in Seattle, Washington. From cruiseindustrynews.com, Port of Seattle safely concludes cruise season amid COVID protocols. The Port of Seattle will safely conclude its 2021 cruise season this Saturday on October 23rd, with the departure of the Norwegian Encore from the Bell Street Pier Cruise Terminal at Pier 66. According to a press release, the season ends safely after hosting 82 cruise ship calls and approximately 229,000 revenue passengers between July 19th and October 23rd. Safety protocols, national and local health guidelines, best practices at port facilities, and timely congressional action all contributed to a successful cruise season, wrote the port. Next year's cruise season will begin in April and is expected to be closer to 2019 passenger and ship call levels. Wow, it's so nice to finally have some good news that the safety protocols that have been put in place and are rigorously followed by most of these cruise lines are actually working. Well, as of Sunday, Carnival Cruise Line is set to finally begin accepting mixed vaccination passengers, and they're not the only cruise line. Let's hear about who all is going to be accepting mixed vaccines. From cruisehive.com by Emrys Thacker. Carnival will accept guests with mixed vaccinations. Carnival will begin accepting passengers with mixed vaccination in the coming days and has made an update to its Have Fun, Be Safe protocols with new information. It comes as other cruise lines have done the same in anticipation of the U.S. reopening to international visitors in November of this year. The cruise line has updated its protocols detailing that it will begin to accept mixed vaccinated guests effective with sailings from October 24th of 2021. It now means if guests received an authorized mixed dosage, they will be allowed to cruise. Carnival will accept guests who have been vaccinated from any of the vaccines approved by the FDA or have an emergency use list by the World Health Organization. And here is the list from the Carnival website. And these vaccines on the list are Pfizer 2-dose, Moderna 2-dose, Johnson & Johnson 1-dose, AstraZeneca 2-dose, Sinopharm 2-dose, Sinovac 2-dose, as well as mixed doses of Pfizer and Moderna, or AstraZeneca and Pfizer or Moderna. As well as in the US only, Carnival will accept Novavax clinical trial participants who've received at least 2 full doses. Carnival also added details about booster shots and said that COVID vaccine boosters are strongly recommended for specific at-risk groups by the FDA and CDC. However, at this time, booster doses are not required for cruising. Guests who have received the full series of an FDA or WHO authorized COVID vaccine or a combination of authorized vaccines and have received the last dose at least 2 weeks prior to embarkation are considered fully vaccinated. There are some exceptions, however, with mixed vaccines, as Carnival Cruise Line does have to follow guidelines from US authorities as well as international authorities, so make sure you keep an eye out for your specific case. The US will reopen to international visitors on November 8th, which is good news for those across Europe and the UK itching to travel and visit loved ones here in the US. The US is also reopening its land border and ferry border to our friends up north in Canada. International visitors may have been vaccinated with a different vaccine that was previously not FDA approved. The vaccine update from Carnival follows Royal Caribbean International and Celebrity Cruises that have also updated their protocols and accept guests with mixed vaccinations. More cruise lines are set to follow in the coming days and weeks. And that sounds like a perfect time to mention a couple more cruise lines who are going to allow mixed vaccinations in the coming days and weeks. And this source is from cruiseradio.net, and Sarah Bretz is the author. Princess and Holland America allow mixed vaccines. Princess Cruises as well as Holland America have announced that they are now allowing more passengers on board who have mixed vaccinations. This is welcome news for Canadian cruisers, as many have received mixed vaccination. As always, guests must be fully vaccinated, mixed or not, at least 2 weeks prior to embarkation. You can check the line's individual websites to see which vaccine combinations are accepted. So that's awesome news for anybody worrying that they weren't going to make it on a cruise ship in the near future because they've had mixed vaccines. Congratulations, you are probably all set to go cruising here in just a couple weeks. So let's talk about the newest ship in the Carnival Cruise Line fleet, one that you might not have heard about, but maybe you've already sailed on it. From cruiseradio.net by Sarah Bretz. Carnival Radiance sails to North America. Begins cruises December 13th. Radiance is finally heading to North America after more than 1 year in dry dock. Construction wrapped at the shipyard in Cadiz, Spain earlier this month, and the vessel is now en route to North America. She's expected to arrive in Freeport, Bahamas on October 27th. From there, Carnival will begin staffing the vessel, and the crew will begin a 14-day quarantine before heading to Long Beach through the Panama Canal. The dry dock cost around $200 million, and the process was delayed a whole year because of the pandemic. If you don't recognize the name Carnival Radiance and are wondering how you missed an entire ship within Carnival's fleet, don't worry, you probably didn't. Radiance is the former Carnival Victory, renamed to reflect the massive transformation that has taken place through this renovation process. She's been around for over 21 years, having initially launched back in the year 2000. I'm sure a few of you remember Y2K from 2000. That is how old this ship actually is. It's absolutely fantastic to see Carnival putting this type of investment into a vessel that is that old. Radiance will join the Panorama, which also sails from the Southern California port year-round. If you made it this far into today's episode, why haven't you subscribed to the channel yet? I'd invite you to take us for a quick little test drive. Subscribe for a couple days. If it's not for you, it won't hurt my feelings if you unsubscribe. But with all the updates and changes to cruise protocols, it's important that you stay up to date with a source of information like ours for your next cruise. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today, and until next time, we'll see you on the Midships.